Hey, YouTube family and friends. Y'all are going to hear my hubby and my son talking in the background. My apologies in advance. Looks like I got two thumbs ups. Thank you, family and friends. All right. Okay. And so I'm going to wait for a little while for some more people to come in to the chat room. I'm still learning how to do this, so I'm not sure who's in. Oh, hello. Figs and more figs. How are you? How are you doing this evening? Where are you from? Where are you from? I'm over here in New Mexico myself, in eastern New Mexico. All right. So we're going to talk about these gardening books. And if you're wondering what I'm doing, I am doing a little bit of multitasking. Y'all forgive me. I'm going to have to do a little something different in my background right here. Here, there you go. We'll work that out. All right.
Still up there, Crystal?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I am.
Ow, my big toe.
Oh, cool. That's cool. Out of Michigan. All right. How you doing? I'm doing a gardening chat. I'm going to talk about these books and my plans for spring so that you can help me not kill my garden. My husband stays on me about the garden. When are you going to water it? He makes sure I keep things living. Okay, so the first book I'm going to take a look at that I am going to use for my garden in 2020 is the Back to Basics. I don't know if they have a new version out, but this is a quick look at the book. I've been through this book a few times already, just looking at it and getting some helpful information. Okay, I don't know if any of you have seen this book before or read through it, but it has a variety of different things in here, from building, energy from wood, water, wind, and sun, enjoying your harvest the year round. And I did read some of that just to get my winter garden, well, my fall garden, it's more like a winter garden now, going. Let's see what else. Okay, raising your own vegetables, fruit, and livestock. I don't have livestock. All I have is a garden, and it says here gardening in limited space. So let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at that. That is what I'm going to be doing. I don't have a lot of space, but I want to try to grow so many things. I say try because a lot of it for me is trial and error. Let's see here. Gardening in limited space. For big results, think small. Okay. My problem, I like to overcrowd my beds. I know some of you probably noticed that in my hello backyard gardener. How you doing, girl? But I like to overcrowd my garden beds. So that's something I'm going to have to work on for 2020. My thing is just getting something to grow. I guess that's how I've been looking at it. But I'm thinking if I overcrowd it with the seeds just to get something to grow, and then once I get them to grow, maybe kind of clean it up a little bit. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that will probably work out best for me. Definitely doing tomatoes for 2020. I'm sorry, I'm writing this down. I'm definitely doing some tomatoes. They did really well in my climate out here. My peppers didn't do as well as I would have liked them to do. So I'm going to work on my peppers too. try to get those down. But I did grow a lot of them, but I think they needed more water than I was giving them, and it gets pretty hot here, and I think that intense heat just didn't allow for them to grow a lot of fruit or vegetables in this case. So I'm definitely going to work on making sure that I have the drip irrigation set up right for all of those. And my drip irrigation, sorry y'all, it was pretty simple this year. I did just go to my local hardware store and pick up some lines I got online and search for some little cheap drippers. And this year I'm going to probably actually look at it a little bit more and maybe do a little bit more planning with what I already have existing. But that's going to be my plan for this year. Definitely getting the tomatoes in. I didn't have any real problems with the tomatoes. I found one hornworm and I was excited because I've never seen them before in person. So I was looking at it, I touched it, I'm like, ah! It was cool. I enjoyed it and I grew a ton of tomatoes. And the funny thing is, I go to the store, I'm talking about these tomatoes, and the lady, she was an older lady in line, or actually running the cash register. She said, everybody's been having problems with tomatoes here this year. And I'm like, oh, I had a few. I had plenty. So like I said in my last live, I am going to be trying to make some spaghetti sauce during this winter break, Christmas break. So that ought to be fun with my own tomatoes out of my own garden. I'm so excited. Let's see. And I'm going to can it too. That's my plan. I'm going to can them. Okay. So I'm definitely going to go through this. And if any of you want to get this book, they probably have it in the library. Maybe, maybe not. But I'm definitely going to look through it. 148, page 148 says the French intensive method. Okay, it was developed nearly a century ago by French truck farmers. The French intensive method combines special soil preparation with heavy feeding of organic fertilizers to support a dense planting of vegetables, and that's pretty much what I'm doing with the overcrowding. So actually, this first method might work out for me. Okay, this involves rototilling. Okay, so this isn't in raised beds. I need to look at the raised beds, and it has here raised beds and planters. Okay, because I do have some raised beds, and I might add another one. We'll see. See if I can get my spouse to help me out. Oh, hey, Four Horns Farm. Hello, how you doing? And we got Green Organic Love. How you doing tonight? All right. How is everyone? I am so excited. Y'all, I've been struggling trying to get this live up and going. And I love watching you guys and looking at your channels. I think I look at almost everyone's, but I got to look at Four Horns Farm. I have to take a look at your channel. But I've seen Green Organic Love's channel, Backyard Gardener. Yes, and I've watched your lives too. Love it. All right. Okay, raised beds and planters. Definitely going to work on those this year. We have heavy winds here. I mean, we've had winds up to 73 miles per hour. So that kind of affects my ability to garden. I wasn't going to even try gardening out here in the Plains region. But I started looking around and I'm like, okay, they have a gardening community here. It's like, so we must be able to do something. And then the more I look, the more I realize that it even with this bad weather, I say bad, but this crazy weather with all these high winds and dirt blowing everywhere, it's like, hey, I'm still able to grow and be successful. I have to take more measures to protect my garden than before. But I'm excited about it. But I want to get some full-size, nice, good fruit and vegetables. And I think some of the advice that I was given was to cut back on the density of my garden beds. So I'm going to try it. It's going to be so hard for me, y'all, but I'm going to try it this year. And let's see if I spot anything else pretty cool. And if you guys want to talk about something, feel free to leave a comment and we'll get a conversation going. Let me see what else they got in here that's good. My beds are probably I think they're about 4.5 by 2. They're about 4.5 by 2. Okay. And they're deep. I have mine. They're pretty deep. They're probably like this, and that's because I got a bad back. And I really wanted to garden, but I didn't really want to get down on the ground. So, the title of the book. Okay. It's Back to Basics is the title of the book. Okay. And it's a complete guide to traditional skills, buying and working land, generating your own energy, raising livestock, enjoying your harvest, household skills and crafts, and more. And it says it's edited by Abigail R. Gearing. And this is the 3rd edition. I'm not sure if they have like another edition out there. I think I picked this one up, probably a couple of years ago. I have gone through it before, but it has so much amazing information. Being a gardener, I kind of borderline on prepper sometimes. And so just being able to look in the book and see some of the skills, that it teaches or shows you here is pretty cool. Like as far as building and making things, creating composting toilets. I mean, it has all the outhouse. Remember the old school outhouses? It even has some information on the outhouse. And I don't have any stock or any money invested in this. I just thought it was pretty amazing. So that's why I'm talking about it. But I remember growing up, my grandparents had an outhouse, and little kids, we used to look at it and they say, stay out of the outhouse. But when I got the opportunity to go look and see what it was about, I didn't like it, but I got the opportunity to see what it was about. Let's see. Heating stoves. That's something as a child my grandparents had. Burnt myself on my grandparents. You can't see it, but I burnt myself. It probably goes here. Covered my whole little arm. Burnt myself on their heating stove. Let me see. But it has all kind of cool things. But what really got me was all the gardening. And it does have the hardness zones in here too. Starting your orchard, how to plant a tree. And we'll probably be getting our trees in the ground here soon, hopefully. Once we figure out landscape or how we want to design the yard, because we just don't want to put them in there any kind of way. We want to kind of make it look good too. So I'm going to try to keep them alive and nurse them in pots. And I have been getting larger pots for my trees. I have Fuji's. What else do I have? Most of my trees are dwarfs. I'm sorry, y'all. Most of my trees are dwarfs. So I have Fuji dwarf, Bartlett pear dwarf, and a couple other dwarf trees. And looking at my neighbors down the road's tree, they have one dwarf apple tree. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I hadn't asked, but that thing was covered with apples. I mean, had to be 200 to 300 apples on that tree. And it was one tree. My yard is not terribly huge. So all those Fujis, I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep them all. I might have to gift them to my family members. But one had plenty of fruit on them, and I didn't realize that they grow so much. Oh, thank you. Please hit that like. Oh, yes. Yes. Apples and pears are old favorites. Okay, so those are trees. Talking about more trees. Tells you how to prune your trees. So, I mean, for somebody that's a novelist, and I think I was more of a novelist Now I'm starting to really kind of get into it a lot more. But this is very good information. Of course, as well as YouTube and watching YouTube, I think it has very good information. And I want to stay a part of the community, so I thought I'd start doing a little bit more with YouTube's new guidelines. So help me out, subscribe. I don't know if we could say that anymore, but help me out. Let's see. It even talks about protecting your crops without poisoning them. And I'm definitely into the organic gardening. I don't do chemicals. I try not to do chemicals on my skin. So definitely don't want to do chemicals in my food as much as possible. I try to stay away from them. I use a lot of neem oil, apple cider vinegar, and those type of things to keep the pests down. Also, I found mesh useful last year. I put mesh over top of my garden beds. It was great, but I'm gonna tell you about those moths. Those moths were able to wiggle their way through the mesh into the garden beds. My Fujis are self-pollinating. They are self-pollinating Fujis. Other than the pear. The pears, I have two different pears. I know one is Bartlett. I can't remember the name of the other one, but they pollinate each other. But the apple trees, they are self-pollinating. And I did get a couple of apples. They're tiny, maybe about like that big, 2 to 3 inches wide. The one of them, it was delicious. The one that I did, actually, I ate 2. I ate them both. They were delicious. They were very sweet. They were small, and they hadn't quite turned red, as it is a red Fuji. They were more like a yellowish color to them. I think they came so late in the season because I didn't figure out what kind of fertilizer to put on them, organic fertilizer to help them grow. So they came kind of late in the season, but delicious. They were delicious. I mean, it was eye-opening because I was putting the trees away because I wasn't sure how they were going to take the snow. So we had snow early in the season, about November timeframe we had snow. So I went ahead and put them in my shed just to get them out. I left one out because it had like some type of fungus on it, and I didn't want it to get on any of my other trees. So I left that one out, and it's doing fine, actually. I think I probably could have left them all out, but I was afraid because I don't know. I took some of my videos down, but my fruit trees, I found them. They were half dead. I didn't know it though, but I found them at Lowe's for $5. They were sitting on a pallet, and I was actually looking for citrus trees. And I was like, are those trees on that pallet? As I drove by, and I pulled over, and the lady said, the garden center manager said, I will sell them to you for $5. Just let me know how many you want. And I grabbed a lot of trees. So that's how I ended up with those Fuji trees. I think if they were the normal price, maybe one, I probably would have had one and I would have babied it. But like I said, I didn't know they were in need of a lot of attention. When I grabbed them, I just grabbed them because they still had greenery. They were still really pretty trees. It's just that they were reduced on the pallet. I'm in New Mexico, eastern New Mexico, and my mind is slipping me right now. I want to say that I'm in zone 7, but let me make sure, because you know what? My mind is slipping me right now, y'all. I apologize. Yes, 7. And it's kind of, I'm in between a A and a B, because sometimes I think I'm in a B, but my plants don't grow right. But everybody's been having difficult with planting this year. So we'll see. And yes, that was Four Horns Farm. It was an awesome deal on the trees. I went back. They had I think it was sweet almond dwarf or tree, and it looked like a twig. So I left it, and then I was like, wait a minute, I want that. I can bring it back to life. So I ran back, and somebody brought like all the trees. They were gone. And the ones that they had left were regular price, which was like $42 or something. And I was like, I'm not gonna pay full price. So the ones that I have, I've been nurturing those and babying them, and they've been performing. They actually had a whole bunch of blossoms on them right before the cold snap, the Arctic blast that came through and the snow. And yeah, they did pretty good. But of course, the blossoms fell off. It got cold on them. And they started blooming out a little bit more. I guess they got tricked into thinking it was early spring. And with, like I said, with that cold snap, yeah. I just kind of lucked up. I'm a praying person. I prayed for my trees. I did. I was like, oh Lord, let me find a dill. I was really looking for those citrus trees, and I got blessed with the Fujis. I accepted. Thank you. And like I said, those fruit have been delicious. Very good fruit. The two that I got off. So I'm hoping that I can get them to do like my neighbor's tree. I know not all trees are the same, but I'm going to find out what kind of fertilizer he put on the tree. His is in the ground, and that might have a little bit to do with it. But I'm going to talk to them and find out what they did with their tree. It was covered with apples, and he was out there just picking them up. When I drove by, I should have stopped. But I didn't want to scare anybody. Say, hey, what did you do with your tree? How did you get it to do that? But I plan on doing that one day. If I see them, if I catch them outside, I'm going to ask them about that, what they put on that tree, because it was just loaded, and they were just grabbing the apples, and there was apples all over the ground. It was crazy, and there was still a bunch of apples on the tree. So hopefully they'll share their secret. But like I said, do I really need... How many Fujis do I have? I think I have 4. So I don't know if I really need 4, if they're going to be loaded like that. But I can always go to the farmer's market, I guess. And of course, can some, make some apple butter or some apple sauce. Yeah. Backyard gardener, do you have any trees? I can't recall if you have any or not. All right. So I'll probably give you guys a few more minutes, and I got a little bit more. Oh, too many. I need to look and see them. I'm excited. Okay. I am starting some avocado trees. I started one before, and I didn't take good care of it. It died. So I have 4 more that I've started. So I want to see how the avocados do, but I think I need to be more in southern New Mexico for those. I think it's a little too hot and dry up here where I am, but that's what I'm looking into. J3GS Farms. Hello. How are you this evening? Yeah. Asian pear. Yes. Cherry peach, jujube. That sounds good. Figs and plums. Yes. Yes, ma'am. That sounds delicious. All right. Anybody else have trees? Yes. And I just set the book down, y'all. Let me get the book back. Look and see what else is in here. Of course, they have a whole thing, fast, prolific bearers, the bush fruits, and they have all the raspberries, blackberries, and everything in here, blueberry crops, red lake currants, gooseberries, all different kind of stuff. And then they have protect your crops without poisoning them. We just talked about that. Using natural controls. And I think I mentioned I used the mesh last year. Worked out great for me. But the problem was that the moths figured out how to wiggle their way. I sat there and watched one wiggle its way. until it found an opening and got into my garden bed. The way I combated that, I didn't figure it out until later in the season because I was like, these bugs are just going crazy. They're eating everything. But I had to actually staple the mesh down, which kind of defeats the purpose because it's harder to get to my plants that way, but I can still water them. They still get sunlight and everything, and then get air and everything, air circulation and everything. But that was a problem for me because I wanted to be able to just reach right in there and not have to lift up the mesh and squeeze in to try to get to a leaf that I saw that was bad or a bug or something. But my plants loved being closed in that mesh. I mean, they did really good once I killed all or removed the moths and all of their little babies. And I just used the neem oil on those, a couple of them, B&T, I think it was, and some of that. Oh, loquats, citrus, figs, mulberries, oh, pears, and peaches. I'm sure that the peaches have died, though. Yeah, it's probably been cold up that way. Do y'all have snow yet? Oh, and then we got blueberry, pear, apple, guava, plum, peach, and more. Ooh, this sounds like a fruit salad, y'all. I love fruits. Love fruits. Okay, and this one is pest control. It talks about do-it-yourself defense for foiling the enemy. Then name some of the pests that you might have to deal with. Let's see, aphids, cabbage worm, codling mouth, Colorado potato beetle, corn earworm, flea beetle, harlequin bug. I'm not sure what that is. Mexican bean beetle. You know, I was thinking about growing some green beans this year so I can snap them like my grandma used to do. So I think I might try that, but I'm going to have to watch out for the Mexican bean beetle, though. I don't know. Oh, it says garlic or cedar extract repels. So I'll probably get some, maybe an essential oil or something. I don't know. I'm in Northeast Florida. No snow, just neglect. Oh, yeah. It happens. And I'm thankful for my husband when it comes to that neglect, because he sets me straight. He's like, so when's the last time you've been out in the garden? And I'm like, yeah, about that. Let me go out there. He kind of keeps me on track. You know, you love this garden. You wanted this garden. You need to take care of it. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. You're right. So I give him his props for that. He does help me out. He'll come sit with me, make sure I don't get bitten by anything. Because we are out here in the plains region, and there are no trees to really break the wind, and there are snakes around here. We have the bull snakes and rattlesnakes, so he accompanies me every now and then. Let me see, raising food and forage for the small place. Okay. So it talks about that too, grains and grasses. Shows you how to store metal rat guards. This is corn. America's unique contribution is an Indian discovery. Oh, okay. I guess those are the storage bins for the grains and the little rat guards to keep the rats from, you know, how they race right up the sides. So it tells you how to do all that stuff. You know, I don't have a homestead. That would be my dream, to have a homestead, but I probably wouldn't be able to do it unless that was my full-time thing. Let's see. Okay, and then it gets into the raising livestock. Some of you, I'm sure, do you have livestock? I wouldn't mind having chickens. That's something I wouldn't mind having. Or even fish. And it has here fish farming. Talks about fish farming. I wonder if it has aquaponics. I have to go to the front and check. Shows you how to process the chicken in here, how to cut it and gut it, how to raise the chickens and geese and ducks, and rabbits. How rabbit farm. I've seen a lot of YouTubers on here with rabbits. Oh, you had some pigs? Cool. Those grow quickly. It even shows you how to process a pig. I know I know I keep talking about my grandparents, but they're my only, how do you say, my only experience with a lot of this stuff. They didn't have pigs, but they sure ate them and picked them up from the local farmers. Let me see. I think that's pretty much it. I've left the tree territory or the plant territory and went into the livestock, harvesting and storing. Okay, it does talk about that too, especially with your herbs, how to properly dry the herbs. It has a lot of good stuff in it. Growing herbs indoors, propagation and planting. So if you're like me, or if you know a new gardener, that's something, or a gardener that's gone from being just somebody that kind of looks at it to actually going out and making it happen. Let's see. This would be a good book, probably for anybody. Selected vegetables for containers. Okay, so it gives the best vegetables for containers. I'll be getting chickens and goats after my property is fenced in. That's cool. Okay. A mod or a mode? Is it a mode, M-O-D, or a mod? Oh, what's this right here? Okay. Oh, a moderator. Yeah. I'm going to have to do that now. You're right. I've seen that comment pop up there. Like, huh? What is that? Okay. Definitely going to have to go into those kind of things. I don't know how to set it up. So if anybody's willing to work with me to get that done, but yes, already. But yeah, lots of good things in here. But I'm about to wrap it up for the night. And thank you guys for coming into the chat and chatting with me. Definitely has been a good experience. And Indy, how do you say that? Easy Gua, New York. Indy, welcome. Don't give them no attention, zero. Yeah, you're right. You're right. All right. Welcome to the chat room. And I'm going to try to do this a little more often as well. Okay. From Seed to Harvest talks about how to grow from seed to harvest as well. So this is one of the books I'm going to be using. Here it is again. Back to Basics. If anybody wants to check it out. To work on getting prepared for my spring garden and situating my plants and all that good stuff. And I have another one too, but we'll talk about that another time because I don't want to cut that one short after I spent so much time on this one. So, hey, great to see you too. I'm finally live. This is my second one, Plant-Based Homestead Prepper. Yes. So finally live. It took me about 3 tries yesterday, and I finally figured out how to do it this evening. So I'll be coming on live, chatting with you guys. All right. Well, I'm about to get off of here because I have some more work to do, and I have to work in the morning. But break is coming, and I am so excited about break. And like I said on my last live, I made a checklist of what I wanted to do because I want to be able to enjoy the break and get as much done as possible that I want to really do. So I just want to thank you all for coming into the chat room. Hit the thumbs up for me, please, if you don't mind. And I'm going to take a look at your channels and thank you all for stopping by. But I got some other stuff I need to take care of. It's getting later in the night. It's 8:30 here, so I'll probably go on. Yes, I am a teacher, actually an alternative teacher. I'm trying to get my license to be an alternative teacher. But I am teaching at the moment and I am licensed. We just have to get a certificate. So I'm working on that. I know. I think it's just by nature. It was funny when I told everybody I'm going to be a teacher. I was so excited and I thought they would be like, wow, really? But they were like, yeah, that's you. And my parents were pretty much like, that's always been you. Oh, great. Another teacher. All right, Four Horns. Yes, I enjoy it. I do. Even though it can be difficult in these days and ages, I'm going into my second year. Yeah, next year, 2020, January. That'll be my second year. I did a little subbing prior to starting teaching full time. Homeschooling, yes. That's something I always wanted to do with my boys, but we didn't want them to have any problems socializing. So we went ahead and sent them to the public school, but I still spent a lot of time with them, teaching them, getting them ready for school and making sure they stay ready during the summers. Yes. So, wow, that's great. And some teachers in here. Awesome. Maybe I'll do a little something about teachers. Oh, goodness. That's great. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and close down. And this has been awesome. I could stay on here all night. Now I know why Roderick talks a lot on here. Is he still in? Now I know why he spends so much time on the live. It is fun. I am enjoying it. All right. This is my 14th year. I also homeschool my kids. Awesome. That's great. Yes, I enjoy it. I don't know. I just never knew that I would get so much fulfillment from teaching, but I really do. I really do enjoy it. All right. Okay. Well, so this is the end of the chat. I'm going to go ahead and close it up. And thank you all for joining. And of course, this is Proverbs 31 Women Out. And I'll be back. Maybe I'll try again tomorrow during the evening. Oop, not tomorrow. Son, have another engagement basketball game. So I got to be there. So I won't be able to do it tomorrow, but I'll probably get back with you guys on Saturday. All right. So I hope everyone has a wonderful night or evening, depending on where you are. And I will talk to you later. But I am ready for the break. For y'all teachers out there, I am ready for this winter break. I've created my list of things I want to do so I can make sure that I capitalize on this time, and I'm ready. So y'all have a good evening. Let me get on off of here. Thank you. Much love. Love you guys. And I will talk to you later. Proverbs 31 Women Out.